Welcome back here with us on Urban Debate, and this is the 9 p.m. edition of the Urban Debate on Mirror Now. I'm Heena Gambhir. A pre-university college in Karnataka's Udupi district that triggered a controversy by banning the hijab in classroom. Now, the issue has been going on since 1st of January when 6 Muslim girls in Karnataka's Udupi were barred from attending classes at a government college for wearing hijab, as it was against the uniform policies of the school. The issue of wearing a hijab to the college along with the uniform has sparked a debate in Karnataka over religious practices impacting the education system in the state. The matter has now snowballed into a big controversy on whether the hijab could be considered as part of the uniform. The experts as well as students are divided over this particular issue. Those who are in favor state that dress code in classrooms should not indicate faith or religion, as it creates barriers between students as well as teachers. And now the Karnataka government has finally stepped in as far as this entire matter is concerned, because after Udupi, we have seen such similar incidents happening in other colleges in Karnataka as well, where there were a group of students who stopped the girls specifically who had come to the colleges wearing hijab, and there were those kind of controversies. But now the Education Minister of Karnataka has come out and said that there is going to be a policy in place which will ensure that uniform rule is followed by all the colleges under the government, and hence the administration or those specific colleges will not be able to form their own rules. So here on Urban Debate at 9 p.m. this evening, we will try and understand, has the state government given into vigilantism? Why is it that only after these incidents that we saw in different colleges of Karnataka, be it Udupi, be it Mangaluru, that this kind of a statement has come from the Education Minister? In fact, on the broadcast this evening, we are joined by Alia Asadi, who is one of the 6 students barred from entering the class for insisting on wearing a hijab. Alia, thank you very much for speaking with us here on Mirror Now. Could you just explain to us what exactly has happened in your college?
So basically, we are not allowed to enter the class just because of hijab. It's happening from first PUC, because when we wore hijab in first PUC, when we wore a headscarf PUC, they forced us to remove our hijab, and like they put us out of the class. I'm now in second PUC, 12th standard. I'm telling you about 11th standard. So then lockdown took place. So in 12th standard, what we did is we did not directly go and wore hijab, because we were knowing what happened in first PUC. So we sent our parents to convince them, convince our principal to make us allow us to wear hijab. So our parents went for 3-4 times. They went to a principal and tried to convince him, but we did not get any positive response. Though our parents were ignored, they made our parents to sit outside 1-2 hours. Like they don't, principal don't respond to parents properly. So after that, we started wearing hijab, and from that time we're not allowed to enter the class.
Can you tell us, Alia, a little bit about the entire controversy? Because, the Education Minister of Karnataka says that this rule for students to wear the uniform has always been there, and hijab was not really a part of that particular school uniform. Since when you and your friends have been wearing hijab and coming to the classroom, and when was it really stopped by the administration?
So actually, the thing what they said is, till now no one wore the headscarf in that college, but our seniors used to wear headscarf. We saw with our eyes, they used to wear. Even our seniors used to. Not first time someone wearing hijab in this college, because our seniors used to wear, and when we wore in first PUC, we were forced to remove a hijab, and lockdown took place. That issue did not big, and in second PUC we did not directly go and not wore a hijab, so we sent a request a principal, but he did not convince. He did not give us any positive response. After that, we started wearing hijab in December. From that time, we have been not allowed to enter the class. It's been almost 20 to 25 days.
Okay. Alia, now the view of the education minister is also that, you and other students who are protesting today are being influenced by some people. How will you like to respond?
Ma'am, I did not hear you properly. Sorry, pardon.
I'm saying the view of the education minister is that, you and your friends who are protesting today over hijab are being influenced by certain people. And that's why you are doing this.
No, totally wrong, ma'am. We are not influenced by anybody. We ask for rights. Not at all. We are not influenced, or we are not forced by anybody. It's my choice to wear hijab, and so on my friend's choice. It's a choice to wear a hijab. We are not forced or influenced by anybody. Not at all.
Okay, so what is the current status? And now clearly the education minister has said that, schools or colleges can't have their own rules. They have to follow the uniform rule that was there, which of course did not include a hijab. So what happens now? I'm being told that you and your friends, about 6 of you, are still protesting, not going inside the classroom.
The first thing I want to say is that in Karnataka, college have no compulsory uniform. So this is a uniform provided by college, and we are not covering uniform. We are just putting a headscarf, not a abaya, not burqa, not niqab. We are just covering our head. I don't know what's problem in that.
Alia, the other view that has been coming is that, school should be religion neutral because, after you and your friends and other people came to the classroom wearing a hijab, we saw some other students came to the classroom demanding that they should be allowed to attend the classes because they were wearing saffron scarves and shawls.
That did not happen in our college, but in different colleges. But one thing I want to make clear that they want to wear saffron shawl, I'm no one to tell, because it's their rights also, and it's not my concern. And what concern is I just want to head off, because Constitution it says allow me to wear it, and it's my fundamental right, and don't think anyone can stop me from wearing hijab.
Okay, Alia, last question before we let you go. Can you tell us now what can be expected, because the education minister has made it very clear that, all the students will have to follow the rule which is there, and that is about wearing the uniform provided by the educational institute.
Ma'am, so the thing is that a government college runs on a constitution value, and I think it runs on education values, and sorry, hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is that a government college runs on a constitution value. So I think when constitution is only it's providing us to wear hijab, then I don't think so any rules can stop us. because it's a government college and it runs on a constitution values.
So you're saying you will continue to protest?
Yeah, ma'am, till we get justice, we will. So
All
it's
right.
not
Alia, thank
only
you
about
very much for speaking
headscarf
with
again.
us. Yes.
Yeah, it's not.
All right. Thank you, Alia, for the moment for joining us and speaking with us here on Mirror Now this evening. In fact, let's now listen into what the Education Minister of Karnataka had to say earlier.
A lot of controversy, of course, is surrounding the hijab issue. If you could tell us at this point in time, what's the stand of the state government, because multiple colleges this issue has surfaced?
State government has asked the detailed information what has happened in Udupi.
Okay.
According to the information which we have received, the SDMC of that college has started uniform since 1985. So far there was no problem at all, and every student who was joining that college was knowingly there is an uniform, they were joining that college because that college is very good. Even the students who are not attending the classes have also joined 1.5 years back, and they were attending the classes as said by the SDMC committee. But recently, after the 1st of January, they have started some problem that 6 students say that we will wear some scarf and we will go.
Yeah.
But what SDMC said, whatever the uniform we have recommended, you have to follow.
So
Because uniform create almost the inferiority complex among the students who doesn't have very good dress will go. That is the why
So
they
precisely
have.
the point. We heard that the PU board is planning to write to the education department to reintroduce a uniform. Is the government going to consider that, have a uniform for the college?
Now what we have thought is,
Okay.
we are going to rethink about everything, and considering what other states are doing, what are the decisions done by the court of the courts, considering that we are going to take a decision. Till that we have decided that all schools which are maintaining such things, that will continue till government take a decision.
Okay.
Even in Udupi College, they will continue with whatever the SDMC has done until we take further decision.
Okay. So, but
And we have clearly said no school can now implement new conditions.
whatever
Whatever was when last year, that condition will follow.
Let me now go across to my colleague Deepak Bopanna, also joining us on the broadcast this evening. Deepak, good evening. Now standoff clearly is continuing on this particular issue. We earlier spoke to Alia Asadi, one of the students who's protesting. Thank you for that, for getting her connected to us this evening. But she told us that, the protest is going to continue. So how soon can we expect government coming out with its policy? What really can be expected in a situation like this now?
Well, we can expect two things. One, of course, is the students relenting. But like you mentioned, well, we spoke to the student a while ago, they are unwilling to relent. And the college administration, on the other hand, is making it very clear that the rules have been set forth for all the students and everyone has to abide by it. And a handful of students now who are not abiding by it will not, make them roll back or go back on their decision that hijab would not be allowed, as they say, because it's not a part of the prescribed uniform that has been allocated to all the students sitting in the classroom. Now, the question here is, what is the government going to do? Because up until now, they had time to act. They could have given instructions to, the school that, well, we do not have a uniform that government prescribes. So if you can allow these students in the interest of their education for now, until we frame the laws, that could have been a different scenario. But the government hasn't done that. So from the looks of it and from what we are hearing from sources within the government, and you heard the education minister, they gave a hint, and you heard the home minister say it in as many words, that they are going to bring in a uniform for all college students across Karnataka. What this would essentially mean is that it would bring a blanket ban of sorts on wearing of a hijab or any other religious item or anything additional other than what the government would prescribe as a part of the uniform code that they'll bring in. So right now, the question that really comes up, and many people have been asking, is if the government brings up such a rule, who is really affected? It will be primarily the Muslim girls who've been wearing hijab and who've been allowed in certain colleges will be affected. And what it takes away from them essentially is the opportunity or the option rather of shifting a college. So while there is of course a blanket rule that will apply to each and every college, now these girls who are studying in this particular college have an option to move to a different government college, which probably does not have this uniform rule where they can sit in a classroom wearing a hijab. But if the government brings in a uniform rule, that would mean that it takes away this option, and then we'll have to see what sort of situation unfolds in the state of Karnataka.
All right, Deepak, appreciate you joining us and putting things in perspective for our viewers. Let's also now go across to my guest joining us on the broadcast this evening on this particular matter. We have Mohankrishna, BJP leader from Karnataka, live with us. Rahman Khan, veteran Congress leader and chairman, KK Educational and Charitable Trust, joining us live this evening. Professor Dr. Gita Bhatt, academician, Delhi University, live with us. And we have Kasturi Shankar, actress as well as activist, also joining us on the debate this evening. Mr. Rahman Khan, I want to begin the discussion with you. You just heard both the sides here. We spoke to the girl, who is among the 6 students who've been protesting, who says that, students are unwilling to relent. They will continue their protest. But on the other hand, the government, the Education Minister of Karnataka has now said that a uniform policy is going to be out. And till then, no classroom can really have its own rule. How do you see this controversy? Has the state, sir, given into vigilantism, in your view?
Good evening. Look, India, see, we should look in the larger perspective. India is a country of diversity. And from time immemorial, we are following the diversity, and that is the uniqueness of our country. That is how it has this thing. Now, you cannot, in a diverse society, you cannot bring a uniformity in culture, practices, and other things. It is impossible. And so, all along, we have respected the diversity. For example, I will give an example. The religion, our Sikh brethren have to have the beard and the turban. And can you ask them to remove the turban and remove the beard? We have culture because Article 29 is very clear. And Article 26 is very clear. So the Education Ministry may say something, we may say something, everybody says there's something. But we have a constitution. The constitution protects the diversity of this country. It is not, I am not going to enter into an argument as to the diversity is good, diversity is bad. We are a diverse country if we have to accept. And then we have to function according to our constitution. Cultural guarantee is there. We have to, because wearing a hijab, of course, culture, following a culture or not, it is left to the individual. If he desires to follow, you cannot avoid it. If he is not desired to follow the culture, it is left to him. So you cannot force not to follow his culture. So here, the hijab is become a part of the culture of the Muslim women. So if even one woman also wants to say that I will want to follow my culture, can you deny it? Can you make a rules against the constitution? Can any government be permitted to frame rules against the constitution? And why all this all of a sudden? India is following them for hundreds of years. We have seen the education institution. There is a friendship, brotherhood. Everything is there. Different people comes in different dresses and all that. That is the uniqueness of our country. Why all of a sudden? Yes, if you want to do it in a very proper way. Now each school has its own. Education minister himself is not very clear what is the rules. He is not very clear about the rules. One school has got, there are hundreds of schools who are allowing hijab. Yeah, hundreds of government schools who are allowing hijab. So this is not, this is an unnecessary controversy created, I feel.
Okay. Okay. Unnecessary issue, unnecessary controversy, and some questions have also been asked by Mr. Rahman Khan. Mohankrishna of the BJP wants to respond.
Good evening to all. The expert panelist, the respected Mr. Rahman Khan, has gave his view on this issue. I'm very happy to see Ali Asad speaking so well about rights, about constitution. I'm very happy that people of the, students of the country are so, educated today in respect to constitution and other rights and freedom, right to freedom and everything. But I would like to mention, Mr. Rahman Khan, I have also read the Article 26 and Article 29. It doesn't say that it has to be done in education institution. And the culture, what he is talking about 6, is already it has, the Supreme Court has given the decision about it. And I would like to mention Mr. Rahman Khan and the panelists and to you all, and Alia Asad especially, when she is speaking about the rights, okay, in 2015, Kerala High Court has given a ruling about hijab. And some Muslim organizations, they have gone to the Supreme Court and the application has been rejected by the Supreme Court, reasoning that this cannot be practiced in the schools and colleges. Hijabs cannot be practiced because school students are seen in equal. When we have studied, I know Mr. Rahman Khan also is a veteran guy, he should also say, and people sitting in Gitabat and everybody, they should also echo my voice, that we have not come across any kind of these things of, hijabs or namaz or whatever kind of things. When we had Muslim friends, we were going to their houses, we had good friends also, but it was not the issue. Why all of a sudden in Udupi district, and that too, Ali Asad was speaking about this hijab issue. When we will fight for the issue, I would like to give a piece of advice to Ali Asadi that, look, you have to go through the 1985 orders of the government of Karnataka. As per that, the uniform rule has been brought in and uniform has to be wear. You are not a separate and a distinguished person to wear a hijab and come to the school. And I have gone through the articles which has been written and the students have what they have said about this hijab. They are afraid that they have male instructors, teachers, lecturers, so they want to cover their head. My goodness, there are so many Muslim students in the country. We are living like a brothers and sisters. So why unnecessarily you are creating a small issue? This issue should have been solved by the students only, their parents only. I don't know why they have taken such a big task for the government. And coming to the point of government, what Education Minister, Mr. Nagesh has said, they have formed a committee. They are going through the orders, like what I said about the High Court order of Kerala and Supreme Court, why they have rejected and what the other states are also practicing. And we are going to bring in a fresh order for this. There are so many colleges, schools, which I have seen in 10th, 11th and 12th students wearing uniforms. What's wrong in Ali Asadi and their friends? I request with folded hands to them, please close this. This is not the way to grow. If you want to fight for your rights, you go to the court and fight, not in the schools and colleges. Don't disturb. You are disturbing others and you are getting disturbed yourself also.
Okay. Kasturi Shankar has a different point of view. She wants to come in. Yes, Kasturi.
While I agree that, yes, a uniform code of conduct and uniforms in colleges and schools are excellent because we are a secular country and we have to keep religion out of the state, That has been the case in many countries around the world. It has never been the case in India. India has never kept religion out of our regular walk of life, be it education or the military or even on board a plane. This is a country which permits Sikhs to have a knife on board a domestic aircraft. So we have always been, and rightly so, very proudly so, we have been a very tolerant, inclusive country where the Constitution does make exceptions in order to be inclusive. So while a uniform, one rule for all, one law for all is a good thing, it is not always a good thing if it is inflexible to the point of intolerance. This is my personal view. As a lawyer, I will say that today on the debate, I see Mr. Rahman Khan wearing specs. 3 people here are wearing specs. 3 people here are wearing bindis. Okay. So where are we going to draw the line? If the hijab is a trespass on the uniform, and I agree it is. I agree that it is not part of the prescribed uniform. You cannot add things or omit things from a uniform, whether it is a saffron scarf or a hijab or a big cross or a bindi or a sindoor or a tilak on a puja day, on Navratri day, then I can't go to school. Where are we going to? If it is not going to be an equal rule, which is equally draconian to everybody, and it only targets somebody, then it's going to be an issue. So are we going to now say majority population? There are 100. I read about the school in Udupi. I call it a school because it's 11th and 12th grade. You do call it a college in Karnataka. In Tamil Nadu, it's still part of school. So we are talking about children who are going to school, and they are not, picturizing them, portraying them as part of some radical Islamic religious group. I think that is too much. Let's just say these are children, teenagers who come from a fairly conservative background. As you rightly pointed out, Mr. Mohankrishna, there are 100 Muslim students. There are 1,000 total students in the institution. Out of 100 students, 6 students want to wear the hijab. Now, is that going to be such a violation of the rules that it is going to, as Article 26 says, you have the Constitution guarantees us right of religious practice as long, this is the Article 26, I quote, as long as it is in conformity with the public morality, health and safety of society, exactly. Right? So is this going to be such a violation? That is the legal point. In Kerala, the decision was in connection with an examination, with an entrance examination, where the rules were so strict that even Mangal Sutras were not permitted. So when they were checking literally everything on a person, no jackets, no form of attire, then the hijab was not permitted. But that rule was consistent for everyone.
Right.
That exam, you know which one I'm talking about. We don't like it in Tamil Nadu. So that was consistent. The rules were clear cut. It was given to everybody. This is not the case. Legally speaking, this is not the case in the Udupi College or in any of the colleges that have come into controversy now. And therefore, and there has been precedent all through the years from 1985, even though there has been a uniform in practice, people have come to school, people have attended college with a hijab, people have come to college with rudrakshas and sindoor and whatnot, which we take for granted. So that is why, and this is, again, legally it is correct. One appeals to one's humanitarian sense as well as legal sense. Legally, the Karnataka government has taken a decision to reconsider all the dress codes and give a uniform code, to give a uniform dress code. They're doing that, why? Because it is not in practice right now.
Interesting.
They're doing that in order to enforce and be legally permitted to enforce a no hijab rule. Now, do the girls have to wear a hijab? No.
Okay.
A hijab is
okay, that's a very strong statement you've made, Kasturi. Let's go across to Professor Dr. Gita Bhatt as well. I know Mr. Mohankrishna wants to respond, but before that, Dr. Gita Bhatt, you've been with us on this particular issue since day one. we've discussed it in the past as well, because it was spreading like wildfire. It started with this college in Udupi, and then it spread to other colleges and other parts of Karnataka. My question to you is very simple. Isn't the state government giving into vigilantism? Because, nobody thought about these girls wearing hijab as a violation till we had these incidents coming from different parts of Karnataka. That's my only point. I don't have a problem, that there should be one rule for everybody. I agree with you. Like last time also, I agreed with you that, the classrooms are supposed to be religion neutral. And I asked Alia as well this specific question. But why now suddenly we are seeing this happening in Karnataka? Raises questions.
Well, Hinaji, it is rather peculiar, and that is how the question has been again and again being asked, that why is it that suddenly there are spurt of events where, a couple of students in a particular college or a school where a particular uniform is mandatory have suddenly, been so defined that they are saying they are not agreeing to attend the classes if they are not allowed to wear their hijab. Nevertheless, you see, here the question is that whether, as the girl on your show also Alia was also saying, it seems they are asking their right to religion needs to precede over the right of the institution to decide on the decorum of a uniform. So here, now the question here has come like this. Now, again and again, it is being raised that, we in India, we are a very inclusive society. We are culturally, civilizationally, inclusive society. The oldest mosque in the world outside the Gulf, the Chiraman Mosque, was made by, the land was given by Hindu kings in Kerala to be made over there. So it has been, that is the way of life. But here, you see, are these girls being told that they won't be allowed to wear a hijab anywhere? No, it is not. As I have come to know from the newspaper reports, that the school administration has been so accommodative that while they had their meeting, where even the district administration was brought, they were allowed, they were told that they can wear their hijabs, for the cultural events, for sports events, etc., into the school, but in the classroom they have to sit without the hijab. So this much of accommodative nature they were trying to show, but these girls are defined that even in the class they want to wear the hijab. Now what happens is, you see, if they are going to be allowed to on this, with this defiance that we are not going to attend the classes, and I believe there is a large number of Muslim students out there, but there are only these 6 who are who are raising this question. Others are okay with going with the school uniform. So the point is that this is going to open up Pandora's box. From now onwards, then there won't, the school administration in no way will be in a position to draw a line when it comes to putting a SOP for the school, whether it is in terms of any kind of a disciplinarian matter, because even a uniform is a disciplinary matter. So the question here is that what is going to proceed? Are in the name of Article 26, Article 29, where we are saying that minorities have a right to, every individual, whether a minority or a majority, has a right to life, has a right to practice their religion. But I would just like to bring it forth. It is very unfortunate in a way that in the neighboring state of Tamil Nadu, a young girl called Lavanya, she lost her life. She was forced to, give up her life because she was so brutally tortured in the school where she was being forced to convert to Christianity. And that is not a matter of debate or discussion in the media. It is, one feels so sad. Look at...
Of course it is. Of course it is. Come on, Dr. Gita Bhatt. We've been talking... But, no, how can you... No, I have asked you, when I have asked you a direct question, how can you just say that, that's not being discussed in media? How can you say it's not being discussed in media?
No, I have not been called, but because you usually take up such kind of issues, but this has not been taken up on your channel. So I was just wondering, but nevertheless, the coming
No,
back
but
to
then
this
you
point,
just can't say, if you have not been watching the channel, you can't say that we haven't covered that story. Mohankrishna. Today we are discussing something else.
Okay,
I would like
okay, I'm
to
coming
say
back.
something.
I want to just say 10 seconds more. I just want to say that whether the society in the town where this has happened, the administration, the school authorities, everybody has to think on these lines that if you give in to the demand of a set of students, irrespective of what the demand is here, these students have come out with a demand of hijab. Tomorrow, a group of students will come out with some other set of demand. Then, where the school authorities or the school administration is going to draw the line?
The school authority.
That was my question,
That's
Mr. Mohankrishna. Hasn't the state government given in to the demand of vigilantes? Because we saw this actually spreading like wildfire. It started from Udupi, and then there were another college in Mangaluru and one more college in Karnataka only, where we saw some students coming out, coming to the classroom actually wearing saffron scarves and shawls, who claim to have backing of certain right-wing groups, who were saying that they have a problem with these girls coming to the classroom wearing a hijab. If they are being allowed, then the other students should be allowed as well with saffron scarves. So there was that sense of competition that we saw happening in other colleges. I'm asking you a simple question. Has state government now given in to these vigilantes and their demands?
No, absolutely no. How can you think that it has been given to vigilantes? The students have the right.
Then why this decision? Then why this decision to come out with a uniform policy, with a uniform code, not come earlier? Mohankrishna, my another question then to you only is, why did the government not come out with this policy when first time the school or the college administration saw these girls coming to the classroom wearing hijab?
They have, I mean, as told by Gita Bhatt, and I have read in the articles also, I spoke to the people in Udupi also. They have told that district administration, they try to convince the students, saying that none of the students, you are one among the students, you cannot be a different one, and this cannot be practiced, and that is the reason they sat with them. This has not been given to vigilantes first. First thing I would like to clarify you. The administration, including the PEO, including the DDP, now the government has come out with a clear cut. They will come out with the policy and they will announce it, and students have to, they have to agree, and the discipline has to be followed. Coming to the point what Mr. Kasturi Shankar was making, we are wearing spectacles, we are wearing bindis, kumkum, all these things. In Hindi films, there are a lot of Muslim actors, they wear Hindi bindis, they wear saris, everything without hijab and everything. Then why you are not following that? Why you are not talking about that?
The question is, where do we draw the line? If every religious symbol has to go,
you cannot. No, let me complete. See, coming to the point, you said that Sikh wearing turban, this has been passed by the Supreme Court already. If you want, you go to the, Mr. Rahman Khan, please let me complete. If you want, you go to the court, take the order and come. One thing. Now the policy, which are uniform, only for 6 students, as Gita Bhatt was saying very correctly, these 6 students have started, and this is like a wildfire, it will spread throughout the country then. Then what will happen? Everybody has to keep on changing things? Do you mean to say that the administration is there? What is the motto of the student basically? The motto of the student is to study and come up in life and show that you are one among, you are equal in the country. You are not showing the distinguish. You are not going to be distinguished or identified in a different way. I request Aliya Sadi and their friends. Let's stop this. Stop this. We are. Even today we are all students. I feel I am a student today. The learning is a continuous process. There is no end for learning. So why unnecessarily creating a lot of noises and issues which is disturbing others also? You're talking of wearing saffron and shawls. Let me tell you, they have not come with that to the college inside the classes. They have just come with the shawl and saffron.
I have the visuals on the screen right now, Mr. Mohankrishna, where this group of students who had come to another college in Karnataka wearing saffron scarves, they were protesting. This is... They were inside the school. They were not really outside the school. They were inside the college campus. They were in the corridor. They were protesting, and they were protesting against the girls who were wearing... No. They might not be inside the class, sir, but their protest was against the girl students of that particular college who had come to the classroom wearing a hijab. They wanted the administration to not allow them to wear the hijab, and that is what their protest was.
No, absolutely no. Absolutely. On a cultural event, they had come.
That is the reason why I asked you. That is the reason.
For a cultural
These are the visuals that we have from Chikkamagaluru, sir. We have the visuals from Chikkamagaluru, sir, which are playing on the screens right now. And that is exactly what had happened. Mr. Rahman Khan, coming to you, the question again is that why is it appearing to be orchestrated? Why is it appearing to be, in a way, targeting one particular community only? That might not be the intention, going by what Mr. Mohankrishna has said. But why does it appear to be targeting only one community? Why do we get that sense?
See, I would not like to enter into an argument with Mohankrishna and all that. I am just my only point is, we are a diverse country. We have to celebrate our diversity, and it cannot be uniformity is not possible in India. The more we try to attend, we create more problem. We have lived as brothers and sisters with our customs and culture, and we should. It is not all of a sudden we should not become on the way of uniform. Because if it is now, we can't go on citing the instances where law is violated, religion is violated, religion is taken, and so that is not good. That is not good. But the only thing is, as he rightly said, every Muslim is not having a scarf or the hijab. Right? I agree. It is not that even some of us will not observe. That is different. That is our individual choice. The constitution is individual choice. The right is given to individual, not to a group of persons. So let us.
When you are studying in an education institution, when you are with thousands of students, you should follow, as you are one among the students, and you should follow the rules and discipline the other students are also following.
This is how you people do it. You will not allow somebody to tell you want to only go on putting your point of view with all emphasis. I am not saying that. I did agree with you. I said constitution is there. Let the government make the rules. If the rules are not according to constitution, it is individual right to go to the court. You are rightly said. You are rightly said. See, what the minister decide, what the government decide is not the ultimate. What the constitution says is ultimate, and let the court decide. Why do we fight? Let us.
Sir, my question to you is very simple. Don't you think that as a student, we have to learn and we have to live with other students also, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the caste and creed?
Stop the student from going to class because she doesn't conform to your opinion?
Then what does it make?
One at a time. Kasturi, 1 second. Let Mr. Rahman Khan respond. Yes.
Excited. Why can't they live like brothers? One day I went to pant with this thing, all that is there. There's so many things. Only why this particular hijab is becoming the issue all over the country, all over particularly everywhere. Some vigilance that, as rightly said, they start it and then government becomes helpless. It was never the case earlier.
Sir, that's my simple question to the student.
Dr. Gita Bhatt, no, Mohankrishna, 1 second. Mohankrishna, 1 second. Mohankrishna, you've made your point. 1 second. Let others also speak. Dr. Gita Bhatt, now the question again is that why is it appearing to be orchestrated?
Orchestrated, you mean this protest? of going and wearing a hijab. That is what you're asking?
No. To come out with a policy, to in a way impose a blanket ban on hijab across Karnataka. That's the sense that we are getting.
You see, I wonder, I do not know what exactly the policy government, because what I could gather from the minister the tape that you had played, he was saying that they are going to come out with some policy. What is the policy? We do not know. But the point is that they definitely have a right to, dress up the way they want to dress up. But it is not that here we are talking about their presence in the premises of the school compound or the college compound where they are attending, and these students also are not being forced to attend this particular school. They have a free choice to go to other colleges where such kind of a discipline as far as the uniform is concerned is not there. They have a right to go and study where they feel that they will be allowed to wear a hijab which they think is something which is mandatory for them while attending a class. So you see,
So are you trying to say that if these girls want to wear hijab, they can change schools? If these girls want to continue wearing hijab to the classroom, the only option for them is to change the schools, because that's the sense that we are now getting from what you've said, Dr. Gita Bhatt.
Heena ji, you see these students and their parents, they have a right to decide to which school they have to go if they feel uncomfortable in going to a school where the SOPs that have been set by the school administration in terms of the uniform, in terms of maintaining a particular discipline in the school is not up to their choice. They have a free will to go to some other school and or other college where such restriction is not there. I think that choice everybody has. There are certain universities and colleges where there is no restriction. You can wear whatever you like, right? So there, no one is going to point the question to, or stop these girls from going and attending the classes. Now here they have an SOP.
Kasturi, these are government colleges that we are talking about, and if government tomorrow comes out with a policy as being discussed right now, it's going to impact all the government colleges, similar colleges that are there across Karnataka. So, if then somebody wants to practice one's culture or religion in the classroom, for example, the girls here that we saw, they will have no other option than to probably leave those schools, these government schools, which are definitely more economical. They'll have no other option but to go to private colleges, which are far more expensive. So what is the message that we are trying to really give? What is it that we are trying to achieve?
Excellent question. I'm going to address your question as well as Ms. Bhatnagar's rebuttal about, if they don't like it, they can go somewhere else. First of all, this is not about just choice. This is not about a uniform dress code. Yes, uniform dress code, absolutely. I agree with it. I completely agree with it. But legally speaking, when there is no consistent law in place, when there is no SOP in place as of now, when there has been precedent throughout the years of people wearing hijabs or tattoos or whatever, when there has not been enforcement in the past, and to get it suddenly, you cannot precipitously introduce enforcement, especially in government institutions. Now, that is why the state is trying to change its policy. Heena, you kept asking why now? Why now? I think sometimes rules get formed due to provocation, due to triggers. Like, when I went on my first flight, people could come into the airport and wave us goodbye. Today, the security rules have expanded because of various security threats. You end up having more and more restrictive rules. So I believe that the Karnataka state is now being arm twisted on both sides by people from the minority as well as by people asserting their majority. They're getting arm twisted to come out and take a stance on a uniform dress code in colleges, to keep religion out of colleges. Now, what happens with that is, as you said, where will the girls go? The legal point is this: as far as I know, as a lawyer, I know that you cannot keep the girls out of class until such a rule is validated, ratified, passed by the Legislative Assembly, and ratified by both houses. Until then, they are not in violation of any rule as far as I can see. I did go through the dress code of the institution. They will not be permitted to send a new rule now, as Minister Nagesh himself said. So I don't think they can enforce that unless they go to court. They can informally and unofficially bully the girls, make them feel bad, but they cannot enforce it unless it's state policy or the institution's ratified policy. Now, the institution cannot make new rules because the state says nobody will be allowed to make new rules. The state, if it does have a policy that no hijabs are allowed, then that is state policy, and Heena, then the girls have to move out of state. Really, it's not even a choice to go to government colleges. At least in school, you can choose your college, you can choose your school, but otherwise you're placed in colleges depending on your marks. So, further studies, higher studies, students don't have a choice on which college they actually have to go to unless they choose for an expensive private college. So I don't think it's a choice for them where they go to. If it is state policy, then they don't have a choice. And I'll be very interested. I'll be watching how the state policy is made. I will be watching if sindoor is allowed, kirpan is allowed, special days are allowed, what holidays are allowed, what food is allowed. This is going to be, as Mrs. Deepa said, it is opening a Pandora's box, but not in the way you expected, because achieving uniformity in a country that prides itself on diversity and inclusiveness, it's not an easy task.
It's definitely not going to be an easy one. Mr. Mohankrishna, you wanted to come in. Yes.
I just want to ask two questions to Kasturi Shankar. Are we debating about what the laws should be made for this student?
First, will you like to respond to what she said?
Yes, first I am responding to that. First I would like to ask her, are we debating here how the laws should be made for the students? I am sorry, we are discussing here whether it is a vigilantism or why the student is behaving so. Okay, let the policy come in place. Why you are forcing to make the policy? I am asking Kasturi Shankar, we have also studied in schools. We have also studied in government schools. We did not know what caste is, what is Muslim, what is Christian. We didn't know about it. We have come, we have grown. We are here today. And we have to set an example. No, let me tell you, let me complete. We have to set an example to the future of the country that we are not looking at the caste, creed, religion. When you are talking of diversity, let me tell you, the diversity, it doesn't mean that you wear whatever you want and tomorrow if somebody comes with something, and do you think that every state has to do this only? I don't think. If she had studied in a private school or private college, do you think that she would have protested like this? No. Why it is so in government? When another 94 Muslim students, they are following it. Why? This is basically to create a trouble. I mean, to create a trouble and to fish in a troubled water. That's all I say. Let the policy come in place.
The question earlier, Mohankrishna, was asked during the debate, what is the problem that, just these 6 girl students who want to come to the class wearing hijab has become such a big concern in this Udupi college suddenly, when things were all fine so far?
No, that's what I'm saying, Heena.
Seniors that obviously seem to have...
Kasturi, one second. Let him quickly respond and I'll come to you. Yeah.
Heena, I would like to tell you something. This problem would have got solved there only. I don't know what you call in English and what prefixes, what suffixes, if you want to give, whatever you want to give, you can give it to the student. But I'm telling you, the district administration, college principal, their teachers, everybody, look at the way that they have made the statement in the newspapers when they have been approached to talk about this. We have male teachers. We don't have female teachers. That is the reason we want to put the hijab. Then why other 94 students are not doing that? My question is very simple to them. Ali Asadi, are you not following? Are you not going to follow your
Kasturi,
friends?
quick response. Then I'll go across to Mr. Rahman Khan. Okay.
2 things. Number one, I actually agree with Mr. Mohankrishna. I agree with you, sir. I agree that students should be equal, religion should be kept out. I agree that radical positions on either side should not be encouraged. And but I agree with that. However, you cannot label individuals trying to assert their religious choice as troublemakers, especially these children. You cannot call them names. You cannot say, why are you saying this? Why do you say men are bad? These are all things that are, you can, I agree that it may be regressive also to kind of, look at everybody with religiously colored eyes and, talk about men and women and rules in Islam. Okay, but this progress has to come voluntarily. No progress anywhere in the world can be achieved by rules, because when you try to make laws to change a person's point of view, that becomes persecution, not progress. So while I support progress, I want that progress to come out of the education and the expansion of those children's minds. And how are they going to get that education and expansion if you're going to keep them out of class until a resolution is actually achieved? If you keep them out of class, do you think this progress is going to be achieved? It is only going to push them into a corner and make them feel victimized and make them want to wear the same thing. So this is already polarizing. Now you've got people wanting to wear saffron scarves. Tomorrow somebody will want to wear tattoos. Somebody will want to wear a crown on their head. All this stuff will come out because this has started. And this is because there is no standard operating procedure. You are going to make the rule. If it becomes state policy, nobody can question. But there is no rule right now. How can you keep the children out of class? That is the only question. Now, their point of view about men and women and trouble.
Closing comments, Dr. Geeta Bhatt. Closing comments. I have very little time now left.
Heena, I just want to put forth is, I think what needs to be deliberated upon is that are religious choices to be exerted in the classrooms, and that is what is going to be going to define the freedom of choice of expressing their religious rights. That is something that needs to be questioned. Second is that if some girl students are feeling because they have male teachers and that is the reason they want to wear a veil, then I think the community and especially their guardians, they need to give them that much of confidence that they need to have some faith in the education system and in their teachers where they are going. Teachers are gurus. So if this is the cause, then it is really a cause of concern, the kind of insecurity which has been seeped into these girls. In the name of religious rights is something which is a
Mr. Rahman Khan, I want to give you the last word. On one hand, if it is about somebody being forced to wear a hijab and come to a class, that's a different matter altogether. But if somebody wants to wear a hijab and come to the classroom and cites individual choice, can that person be really stopped? Simple question.
You see, there are, nobody is talking about religion here. Religion has this culture we are talking about, cultural justice. There are wearing a hijab is a cultural, it is for, because all the Muslims will not wear hijab, all the people will not do that. As I rightly said, constitution gives individual right. So if what all discussions we went through, it is behind the constitution. So that is why I have nothing to comment on all the great people have said about various uniform. It was I feel India is a diverse country. We have to maintain inclusiveness and we have to maintain with all respect and tradition without giving room to think.
I'm completely out of time now, but I appreciate all of you for joining us on this very, very important debate on Mirror Now this evening. Thank you very much. We're now looking forward to what the government really comes out with on this particular matter. Heading into a very short break. Stay with us.